Hey, I'm Avert, and welcome to another Yappathon. This is going to be a series that I am making. It is going to be a thing I do, whenever I have something to talk about that I want to get off my chest onto a video. I'm just going to yap about it, because as you all know, I am a yapologist. I am a yapaholic. Alright, it is just what I do. I enjoy yapping. Alright, for the love of the game. And these will be entirely unscripted. It's just me literally sitting at my computer with my headset on Audacity, just blathering on about anything going on in life. And I have a bunch of things to talk about regarding what happened last month, because last month kinda sucked. I'm gonna be honest, mostly because of stuff in my personal life, but even outside of that, kinda, I don't know. Wasn't really the biggest fan of last month, and there's a bunch of things to cover, and last time I did a Yappathon, it actually performed really well. Although, to be fair, I did give it the title, Hey, and I had, the ominous, classic black background with the white standard text over top of it. So, I am pretty surprised, though, still, kind of, that it's I can't even speak, that it performed as well as it did. I can't even speak, and yet I love yapping. Terrible combination. Something else I want to mention, you may hear, a sort of, crackling sound in one of your ears, and I'll get into the reason why that is really shortly here, but yeah, I don't know. I think I did a test on Audacity really quick, and the noise reduction seems to have done the trick in masking over it for the most part, but I'm afraid it might not work that well, so let's just hope this audio isn't entirely unusable by the time we're finished. Anyway, let's begin. Timestamps will probably be in the description, probably. Anyway, first thing I would like to talk about and start yapping about is the fact that in the middle of last month, I think in the dead middle actually, on the 15th, some friends and I, we built a new PC. And this is something we've been planning to do for a month or so now. Ever since I showed them what my old PC specs were, they were like, okay, we could probably build a better PC for $150. I don't know what the exact cost ended up being, but it definitely wasn't that much overall. So all three of us, we went to go get parts. I had one friend that had the RAM, got the case and whatnot. One friend got the CPU and GPU and the friggin', what is it? The storage. And I bought the motherboard for $120 or so. So I got a new PC for $120, and that's a pretty good deal if I do say so myself. Old PC, you all know this, it ran terribly. It was beyond being made out of sticks and rocks and dinosaur fossils. It genuinely was cavemen banging rocks together, honestly. It was not a good computer at all, and I genuinely believe that it ran worse after I published my last two videos. My last two videos are both over an hour long and fully edited. It's not just a low effort long video like this one. It actually was really intensive on the editing side and strenuous. But the thing is, right, I think my computer legitimately didn't run as well after making those videos. I think it actually just destroyed the internal mechanisms of the PC. The videos performed really well, my computer didn't. And I just had to get a new computer. It was just a thing that needed to be done. So we all came together, banded together, and then the day we built it, we literally spent 12 hours building the thing. I'm not even kidding. We started around 1 o'clock, I think. My friend picked me up. We all got together at his house, all three of us, and we built the PC, and it literally took until 12 when we got driven home. And my friend, the absolute homie, shout out to you, Kieran, literally stayed up till like 3 a.m. trying to build the thing, right? 3 a.m. building the thing, and it was like, holy. And then the next day, we ended up finishing it all up at my house. You know, all of like the UI and whatnot. So basically, we installed Tiny 11 onto the computer, which is pretty much Windows 11, except it gets rid of a lot of the bloatware that just doesn't need to be there, that makes it take up more memory than it has any right to. We installed that onto the computer, and I'm going to say Windows 11 isn't that bad if you change the UI to be more like Windows 10, you know? If you make it like Windows 10, it's better. I don't know. I don't think Windows 11 is that bad, honestly. I like the new UI. All the new, like, the icons and whatever actually look pretty good. I like it. Overall, I just don't hate it. It's been working out fine. It might be a different story if I if I ended up getting not Tiny 11. That would have just eaten up my memory like Pac-Man, because I still don't have a lot of RAM, right? Although, here's the silver lining here, is that apparently the processor we got was really good, like extremely proficient. Apparently it was like, it costs like, I don't know, like around $300 on Amazon we saw it for, and we ended up getting it for like $50. So that was a really good deal, and that means that if I ever wanted to upgrade my PC further in the future, I could do it. Because it has a lot of like wiggle room, right? It's very expandable, the PC. So my friend said, first thing I should do if I ever plan to upgrade my PC further is to get better RAM. He said the exact name of what it was called, but I'm not nerdy enough to remember all that. Alright, I'll look back through our chat logs whenever. So yeah, I have a new PC now, and it's really good. I managed to use my old storage in there. I have my old disk drive in there. It fit like a glove. Like, it looked like it was made for this thing. My disk drive on the old PC was actually in pretty good condition, all things considered. It looked like a brand new disk drive, barely even like a scratch on it. So we ended up using that, and yeah, everything worked together. It's funny, when we were building the computer, my friend had like a $5 CPU we tried putting in there, and that didn't exactly work out too well. I'm gonna be honest here, didn't work out that well. It ended up not working at all, and we were like, yep, that's a $5 CPU, so we had to like immediately rush onto Facebook Marketplace to try to scramble to locate another CPU to purchase. And then we ended up just driving downtown to the guy, because the guy just happened to have a CPU available for like $50 and just happened to be available that night. Like, it all worked out perfectly. Like, absolutely perfectly it worked out. I can't believe how well it was meant to be. The universe wanted me to get a new PC. Alright, it was tired of the old one. So yeah, we built the new computer. Everything is all good in that regard. I am so glad I don't have to deal with my old computer anymore, and we'll see how proficient this computer is, how adept it is at editing when I start editing tonight, because this video needs to get edited. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to do more with this computer. It can like run games now. Before, I didn't even have a GPU. Like all the graphics was being run by my CPU before. So this is great. Everything's working really well. I'm able to watch 4K video on YouTube. It's just all going well. Like, I had new internet a couple months ago, right? We got much better internet. It's almost 200 megabits per second download speed. Pretty good compared to what we had before, which wasn't even like a stable 25 megabits per second, right? But I barely could use it on my computer because YouTube just wouldn't work that well on my PC. But now it can, so it's really nice. It's really nice to have this PC. I'm really thankful to my friends for helping me build it and get all the parts and whatnot. They didn't have to do it, but they did. So, yeah, really grateful all around. But the thing is, here's the thing. The current case I'm using for this new PC is a pretty old case. My friend had it like lying around somewhere in his yard, and it was like filled with dirt and sand. We had to like blow it out with the compressed air. Then we got like water and cleaned it, and it looks a lot better now. It looks much newer. My mom saw the case and was like, "Is that a new case?" It looks pretty good, besides for like the front grates with the fan. It's like a bit rusty. I might post pictures of what the CPU looks like right now on the screen, but yeah, no, everything's running smoothly. I've been using this computer for like the better part of a month so far, and yeah, I'm very happy with how it all went out, how it all turned out. But since the case is a bit worn down, the USB ports on the top and the audio jack and microphone jack on the top are a bit dirty. They were a bit corroded, and they're barely working, so that's why you might hear the little like crackling sound in one of your ears, like the left ear I think it is, that sounds like Rice Krispies. But yeah, that's all done and dealt with. The old PC, we are trying to install Linux on it. My friend said it's all done, so I might have to go back there to pick it up. I don't know what we're going to do with it. We might end up just using it as a server. That might work, but yeah, we'll see from there. All I know is that I'm good for now. All of my storage is carried over and we're good. So yeah, that's the PC. I'm going to take a drink of water now. Alright. Next thing to talk about, start yapping about, is probably the thing that most people want to know my thoughts on. I was contemplating doing a full video on this, but I've decided that would just, it wouldn't be necessary. Alright. I don't think we need to make another video on the Switch 2 before it even comes out. I think that'd be a bit redundant. I'm just gonna add it into here, my thoughts. So, on April 2nd, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened. And before I start talking about all the negatives I have, all the fears I have, I want to just discuss my thoughts on the console itself. So, it's pretty much exactly what we thought it was going to be, right? An upgraded Nintendo Switch, and that's exactly what I wanted. That's all it needed to be. Nintendo struck a winning formula with the Switch 1, having portable games that you can play on your TV. It's perfect. It came out at a perfect time in my life too, right as I was going into high school. And I needed to bring portable games here for like waiting on the bus or whatever, for like waiting at like lunchtime. It just worked out so perfectly. Being able to use the Switch portably, waiting for the bus, and then at lunchtime, we'd be able to just play Smash tournaments on the TV. So yeah, and the Switch 2 is just an upgrade of that, which is all good. The specs on this thing is actually pretty impressive. It's beyond what I thought it was going to be. I did not put any stock into the rumor that it was going to have 4K support on TV, and it does, which is really cool. It's also really cool that in handheld mode it's at 1080p and like 120 FPS. I was thinking like stable 60 FPS was a little bit too much of an ask for Nintendo, but 120 FPS is actually pretty damn good, all things considered. Switch 2 specs are like nothing to scoff at, nothing to sneeze at. And yeah, that's on the specs. Oh yeah, HDR too. HDR is really cool. I'm gonna have to see. I don't have a Switch OLED, but while we were building the PC at my friend's house, he has a Switch OLED, and it really sucks because he's not even a Nintendo guy. Barely anyone in his house uses it. His parents just got the Switch thinking they might want it, and I'm like, damn it, give me the OLED, goddammit! I want the OLED right now, give it to me. I ended up putting some of my games in there while we were waiting for like PC stuff to load and whatever. And we were like waiting for his parents to give us the thermal paste for the PC. And I was just popping my games inside of the Switch there. And yeah, the OLED screen does look a lot better than the original Switch. And I need the OLED. I'm coming in there. I'm going to dress up as Santa Claus, go down his chimney and nab that damn OLED if it's the last thing I do. Even though by then I'll have a Switch too, but you know. But yeah. Yeah, Switch OLED looks good. And the new Switch won't have an OLED screen. However, the thing about that is it has the HDR to compensate. So I think it's still gonna look better than the OLED screen, but it isn't an OLED screen. I am gonna have to see it in person. I've yet to see it in person, you know. As much as we can look at like Digital Foundry videos of them having like the 3 different switches back to back and like this little impromptu sort of MacGyvered setup. But yeah, I still think the screen's gonna look good. The HDR is cool. 4K support is cool. I have a 4K TV in my living room, so we're gonna finally be able to get games running on 4K on that. So that's gonna be really cool. The upgrades for the Switch 1 games didn't work how I wanted it to. I was kind of hoping that literally every first-party game would just get a free performance update on day 1, and there are very few that are getting it. Mario Odyssey is getting a day 1 performance upgrade on the Switch 2, and that is really good. I am really excited to play 4K Mario Odyssey at 60 FPS, or like 1080, 120 FPS with HDR. I'm just like picturing that right now. Ooh, that's gonna be great. But literally every first-party Switch game will benefit from the new like performance. Luigi's Mansion 3 comes to mind. You know, Luigi's Mansion 3 at higher performance and higher visuals, just ooh, man, that would look so good. That game already looks incredible. I'm thinking about like Smash Bros. Getting performance upgrades. 120 FPS Smash Ultimate. Ooh. Oh, man, dude. Like, Nintendo Switch games already look pretty visually stunning unless they're made by the Pokemon Company or Game Freak. They all look really good. I'm picturing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe base game tracks running at this. Just all these games, all need Mario Wonder, just all these games will look so much better on the Switch 2. However, Nintendo being Nintendo, doing the classic drip feeding us everything. Like, they've been doing a lot of drip feeding. Even on like their Nintendo Music app, they were already drip feeding soundtracks, but now they're drip feeding tracks from the soundtracks. Kirby and the Forgotten Land got added, and that's a great OST, except they didn't add every track onto it. They only give us like half the soundtrack, so we're missing really good tracks like Metro on Ice isn't present, which really sucks. But back to the Switch 2. I'm really looking forward to these upgrades. Again, I'm not talking about the pricing yet or the negatives. I'll get into that, don't you worry. But yeah, overall, it looks really nice. The Joy-Cons look a lot better. You know, I did like the Joy-Cons on the Switch 1. And these just look like improved Joy-Cons, you know? Just make them more ergonomic. Make them run better. Get rid of the stick drift. I know they're not using Hall effect sticks, but still, I want them to get rid of the freaking drift. I'm pretty sure the solution to stick drift was like, there was like a bit of dirt inside your stick. And inside, you could fix this by like applying pressure underneath the analog stick and above the D-pad. So if you put like a square pad there, inside of the Joy-Con, it would add pressure to it, and that would fix the issue. So maybe they'll just do that in the stick. I don't know, just get rid of Joy-Con drift, because the Joy-Cons are more expensive, and I don't want to be able to have to buy several sticks because of drift. I'm fortunate enough to where my old Joy-Cons have still yet to experience drift, so I have not been plagued by Joy-Con drift as of yet. So let's just hope it doesn't happen on the Switch 2. Anything else? On the topic of Joy-Cons, the mouse mode. The mouse mode is really good. I've seen people who have played the hands-on experience. They said the mouse mode actually works surprisingly well, and it's seamless too. Originally, my prediction was that the C button on the right Joy-Con would be a cursor button, and once you push the cursor button, it would activate the Joy-Con mouse. That ended up not being the case. The Joy-Con mouse literally automatically activates so long as you put it on the sensor that's on that the part with the SL and SR buttons, which are also bigger, which is good. So, yeah, it works pretty well. I can see it working really well for a lot of games, which I'll get into. They showed it for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is definitely a game you'd want it for. Any third-person, first-person shooters, any shooters at all, really. The mouse control would work really well for that. I could see that being a really cool option to have. It makes it play just like a PC game would. but I can think of other games it would work really well for. They showed that Civilization 7 would have mouse control support added in, and that's definitely a game that could use it, but I'm thinking bigger scale here, right? Immediately what comes to mind? Boom, Mario Maker 2, right? Super Mario Maker 2 with the mouse controls would be perfect. The biggest issue that game has is that making levels on the TV, constructing Mario levels with the Joy-Cons and not the handheld mode, isn't as intuitive as the Wii U gamepad was. Wii U gamepad just instantly worked. Genuinely, like one of the top 3 uses of the Wii U gamepad, just pull out your stylus, start placing blocks. It's nowhere near as intuitive on the Switch. You get your finger grease in handheld mode. On TV mode, it's just like really unintuitive. A lot of just hoops you have to go through like wheel menus and whatnot. It's kind of a mess. And it's the reason why I haven't built anywhere near as many levels in Mario Maker 2 as I did in 1. But the mouse mode would completely alleviate the issue. Having the Joy-Con mouse to place blocks and stuff, it would be good. And it would also harken back to Mario Paint, right? Mario Maker 1 originally was supposed to be a new Mario Paint game. And it ended up being a Mario level creation game. And like, Mario Paint had a mouse accessory. This is great. A mouse built in, and it's on both controllers too. Both controllers have mouse access, mouse control, so we'll see how that goes. I want to just be able to use the mouse control anywhere, you know? I think in any game it should work, like even on like the home menu, right? I might want to navigate the home menu using the cursor instead of using the buttons. That could be a cool addition to have. It's pretty much like a touchscreen replacement for TV mode or tabletop mode, which is really cool stuff. Oh yeah, also like Ace Attorney games, other like point and click detective games on Switch. The Room games, one of the issues was that playing with the Joy-Cons you'd have to use like gyro and it really hurts your wrists. Being able to use mouse controls on those would also work really well. I want all these games to give us free updates for mouse controls. It'd be really cool. That's mouse controls. I'm trying to think of anything else like regarding the console itself with like the hardware. Oh yeah, game chat. I forgot about game chat. Having more water. I'm not cutting my water breaks out. You will listen to me drink water and you will like it. Alright. Feel free to have this on in the background, by the way. I should have mentioned that at the very beginning, but... The game chat, they showed it off. Nintendo finally coming in like 10 years late with having voice chat in your system itself, and it's literally just Discord. Alright, it's the Discord UI. Everything looks the same. When someone talks, you have the green ring around them. Everything, it's just Discord. It is absolutely just Discord. That's all it is. That's all that, nothing more, nothing less. A lot of people have criticized the fact that the gameplay of other people runs at like 5 FPS. I don't think this is that big of a deal. Nintendo being honest about the frame rate, by the way. I don't think this is that big of a deal. You know, it's just literally, as long as it doesn't like freeze constantly, I don't think the FPS really matters. As long as you can tell what's happening in other people's screen. You're not really going to be looking at their screen all the time, but yeah, I am still really excited for this console. Game chat, Also, you have to pay for game chat eventually, so it's going to be a button that does nothing if you don't have Switch Online, which, to be fair, most Switch owners do have Switch Online. I'm pretty sure there was a poll saying that a majority of the people who have a Nintendo Switch also have some sort of online subscription. So, yeah. I think that's about it, technology-wise. HD Rumble apparently is better, so I think HD Rumble is a really underrated feature on the first Switch. Really good haptic feedback. Games that don't have it, you can tell it doesn't have it, or at least I can. And games are definitely improved with it. And it would be nice to see the haptics improve as time has improved. Yeah. I think that's all the technology stuff. The dock is better too. Let's hope it doesn't scratch your screen, because the original Switch, I usually tilt it backwards will I take it in and out so it scratches the back of the screen instead of the front. But the fact you have to choose which side of your Switch gets scratched by the dock is so stupid. There was like barely any felt blocking it. I think the OLED dock was a bit better, but this dock looks a hell of a lot better. It also has a built-in fan for cooling, so they can like push the internal performance a little bit more. They can overclock it a little bit because of the fan. So yeah, overall, everything just seems like an improvement. This seems like a Nintendo Switch, but it's not rushed out. You know, they don't have to worry about getting a new console out there. They could take their time refining it, making sure everything is up to snuff. And yeah, it looks like a quality console. I think that's it for the hardware. Games time. Mario Kart World. I don't know if I should start with that. Okay, we're not starting with that. There's a new Kirby Air Ride game directed by Masahiro Sakurai. I think Masahiro Sakurai at this point in his career, the fact that they showed that he's directing it means that he is one of the very few directors in any entertainment industry whose name is like prestigious enough to throw onto a promotion for the product and have it sell, right? Up there with like Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan is like one of like, what, 3 film directors I can think of off the top of my head, who, when their name is on a film, you know, okay, that's gonna be some good shit. Or at least you think it's gonna be some good shit. It might not be, but you think it is because their name is on it, right? Up there with like Steven Spielberg, right? I'm trying to think of other directors whose like name is that prestigious and like recognizable to where you hear their name and it's like, oh, that's gonna sell you on the movie. I think Masahiro Sakurai has reached that level as a director where they're putting his name on there knowing that his name is going to sell the product. People are going to see that Masahiro Sakurai is working on the game and boom, there you go, there's the selling point. Usually it's like actors that reach that level, right? When people care about like what actors in the movie. Like my mom, whenever I recommend a movie to her, she's like, who's in it? It's like, who cares about who's in it? I care about who made it. But anyway, this is like a side tangent in my Yappathon. Back to the main Yap. Full course of Yap. The Kirby Air Ride. Air Riders, it looks good. I haven't played the original Air Ride. I don't think I'm going to pick this up, but it is cool that it's there for people who want it. Other games. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Great name, by the way, but the game also looks pretty good. This is going to be the 3D Mario on Switch 2. I don't think a 3D Mario game, I don't think Mario Odyssey 2 is going to come out early on in the life cycle. I think this is the 3D Mario that the Odyssey team was working on. Nintendo EAD, I think it is. They're like in-house development division that's working on it. It looks really good. I like how you can break everything and the game like remembers what you've broken too, right? So whenever you break stuff, the game will remember it. It's great. And you couldn't do this on Switch 1 hardware. It's using the new hardware to the game's advantage. Yeah, it looks good. It's just overall, yeah, even though I don't like this new DK design that much, what I do like is that the new design allows the character to be more expressive. I like that. His facial expressions and whatnot, really goofy, full of personality and life and charm. And I'm probably going to wait till Christmas to get this picked up. But yeah, no, it looks pretty good. Although I'm not sure if I'm going to end up enjoying this game as much as I would enjoy an Odyssey sequel or a successor. But, you know, Donkey Kong can sell games. I think people are like really not putting faith on my boy DK. Alright, Donkey Kong Country Returns, I think was like top 3 best-selling Wii games. Maybe? I could be wrong, but it definitely sold really well. And Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo also sold really well. Original Donkey Kong arcade game sold well. DK can push units. Alright, that's it. And yeah, game looks really good. There's a bunch of third parties coming to Switch as well, which is another thing I'm really excited about. I like that Switch is getting third party support. Now that games can run on the Switch too. The bunch of really cool third-party announcements. Elden Ring coming over is really neat. You got Cyberpunk 2077, and which is good that it's coming now, because now the game actually functions. I'm pretty sure Cyberpunk 2077, I've heard it's actually good now. So yeah, all the DLC and everything is coming on the cartridge and everything, so that's great. shout out to CG Project Red for that. And I'll get into the whole cartridge thing later. That's another thing I'm getting into later. Don't talk about it now, Alfred. Don't do it. Hold it in. But yeah. Other third-party stuff. Hades 2 is coming over, which, I mean, it's cool, but, like, that also could have just came to the Switch 1 as well. It's not that big of a thing. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is, though. That's cool. So far, it's just Integrate. I think they'll release the other parts as the time continues, but still cool to see. Also, cool to see Street Fighter 6. It's cool to see all these other third-party announcements, like Hitman coming over. Yeah. And then the biggest announcement, the one that they announced at the very end, they announced that From Software is making a new IP exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2. Like what? When I was watching this direct with friends, I made a joke that it was like only on the Switch 2, but no, it's actually only on the Switch 2, and it's an exclusive From Software game. I don't think people are understanding how insane this is. I think like From Software is owned by Sony, right? Sony owns From Software, and they're over here like, I think what happened was Miyazaki was like, hey, can we make a sequel to Bloodborne? Sony's like, no, we hate Bloodborne. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna go over to Nintendo and make a spiritual successor to it, you know, legally distinct to Bloodborne 2. And so they did. And yeah, even though I haven't played any From Software games, that might change with Elden Ring coming over. I might pick that up. But yeah, that's mind blowing. Exclusive From Soft game, like goddamn. But yeah. Oh yeah, Silk Song got shown off for like 5 seconds. That's coming this year, whatever, who cares. But seriously though, the fact that they just like, they put that in the sizzle reel, like they sizzled that shit. They just sizzled right by it, just and then continue. Yep, that's coming out this year, whatever, moving on. The stream itself for the Nintendo Switch 2 is actually pretty bad. There was like a huge audio delay for most of it, then like halfway through it cut out, and everyone had to switch to the UK stream, which actually worked. And even when the US stream came back, it was still delayed, the audio, so that was kind of a little embarrassing on Nintendo's part. But yeah, I think that's it for the presentation itself. There's game sharing now, which is another thing I want to get into. Other stuff, I think that might be it for the positives. Oh yeah, wait, I haven't talked about Mario Kart World yet. Hold on. Hold on, I'm over here forgetting to talk about the main course. How silly of me. Alright. Mario Kart World. Here are my thoughts. My thoughts on Mario Kart World are mixed. I am both excited and nervous for the release of the game, which is June 5th. I haven't mentioned the console release date was June 5th. I was like a week off, alright? On my prediction of the release date, I guessed like, what was it, like June 11th, I think? That is so close. That is less than a week away. I was thinking, my thought process was it's gonna be like mid-June because that's nearing the end of school, and kids and adults alike are gonna want a handheld console to play on the go outside when it's getting nicer out. And Mario Kart, I think having that at launch is genius, of course, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the highest selling game on the Switch. Nintendo knows that Mario Kart World will sell like hotcakes, and having that out day one was a really smart move. Really good too. It's convenient as well. It's not that far away. It's like 1 month and change away from now. So yeah. So anyway, Mario Kart World. I am excited and scared. It looks incredible. Visually, the game looks phenomenal. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already looked good back on like the Wii U in 2014, over a decade ago. This just is on another level though. 4K, it just looks incredible. Every time there's a sunset in the game, it's just visually stunning. The water looks insane. Everything like it looks incredible. I need the guy on Miiverse who is posting about every game having good looking water. I need that guy to come back here and be like, whoa, goddamn, that dude is like absolutely zooted from the Switch 2. Game looks incredible. That being said, I have some issues that I'll get that I'll get into later. But positives: open world Mario Kart is really cool. I really like how you drive from one track to the other. I remember as a kid playing Mario Kart DS, I would ask myself, how do they bring their carts between these courses? Like, especially in like the Star Cup of Mario Kart DS, right? Where you have like Airship Fortress, DK Pass, and Tick-Tock Clock. Like, how are you bringing your cars to Tick-Tock Clock, dude? How are you bringing your cars from there to Airship Fortress? But now you actually drive to each track, which is a really good use of the hardware, right? This wouldn't work on the Switch 1. Switch 1 wouldn't have the power to run this huge open world. Then there's like free roam. Apparently there'll be like missions and whatever in there, which I'm hoping that the missions are going to be more than just get a bunch of coins and go through a bunch of gates. Mario Kart DS's mission mode, I think, is severely overrated. People are way too like praising of that mission mode. I think the mission mode on DS is way too lauded. People love it so much, and I don't know why. Most of the missions kind of suck. They're kind of boring, like having to throw the green shells at the Monty Moles. Like, who actually enjoys that? People only liked it because of the bosses, which admittedly were pretty cool. That was the one part of it I was like, okay, that's neat. But other than that, it's like you can take it or leave it. Nothing in there really stands out, and I'm hoping that we'll get some good missions. It'd be cool to get some like platformer missions, you know? Like you actually have to jump your cart between platforms using the jump feature. That would be pretty neat. But I'm hoping the missions are actually pretty extensive. They said there's like hundreds of them or whatever, but that's not going to mean much if they're all just basic get some coin missions. Other than that, the game looks great. The gameplay looks great. It looks really fun. Items have been rebalanced. So the lightning, for instance, before how the lightning would work is it would hit literally every single person during a course would get struck by the lightning, right? That's how it used to work. But now the way it works is that it only hits people that are in front of you. So there's already been gameplay of someone like smuggling a lightning bolt into first place, and they aren't able to do any damage whatsoever because they're in the first place. Everyone's behind them, and that's a really good use of the lightning. Mega Mushroom is back as well, which I think it'll be better here with the higher player count. In Wii, it was pretty much just like a glorified star. No one really cared. Other item changes. Bullet Bill isn't as powerful, which is also good. You can't just smuggle a Bullet Bill. So yeah, they're really balancing these items. I like the new items too, like the hammers coming back from Tour. You got the a new coin shell, which you like throw it, and it trails the ground like the blue shell, while also leaving coins that everyone can collect. Cool item. The feather is now an item in normal races, so you can take shortcuts and whatnot. That sounds like it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, you can take some pretty big shortcuts with it if you get it at the right time. But then again, if you want to like dispose of it to get a new item, you might just end up jumping over the item box. So there's like a risk-reward factor to it, which is kind of neat. We'll have to see how all this plays out. Ice Flower's back. I think that's most of the items. So yeah, you got like these burgers, which sometimes changes your costumes. Sometimes it's just like a speed boost. And overall, yeah, it's just, the game looks great. It looks fun at points. Some points seems like it's a bit open, but I think that's because the treehouse gameplay was only in 100cc. I think you turn that to 150cc and it'll be really good. I'm really hoping that the game will have 200cc return, because this game kind of looks made for 200cc, right? Everything just looks like if you go really fast it'd be a lot better because it's really open. And so far we have not seen 200cc, and it hasn't been confirmed yet to be in the game, so I'm really scared they might just do away with it, which would suck. I'm hoping it's just like an unlockable that they haven't shown yet, but we've not seen any gameplay of it, no confirmation, nothing. So it's entirely possible it just might not be in the game, which would be highly unfortunate. and other stuff. Character selection is very vast and extensive. Really vast. All these like obscure characters. The Cataquack is a driver. The cow is a driver. You got like the dolphins. You got the freaking bonefish. Like, huh? They really be inviting anyone to drive in Mario Kart. Anyone can get their license. But like, geez, man. Such an extensive roster. However, I have some fears. First fear is that the character selection screen looks like garbage. All the costumes are just thrown in there on the selection screen itself. I'm pretty sure Pauline is in the spot where Daisy should be next to Peach. It looks like a complete and utter mess. And I'm hoping, beyond hope, that they end up fixing this for the final game to where how it should be, which is you click on a character and then there's a drop down menu with all of their costumes there. And that's how it should be. Alright? You click on a character and then there's a drop down menu, the end, bam. But yeah, that's the main thing with that. But another thing I'm scared about, I'm concerned that what we've seen so far with the game, this is in general, what we've seen so far is all we're gonna get, right? With the character roster, there have been some characters that we have not seen. Diddy Kong and Funky Kong are like huge outliers here in the roster. Huge like exceptions to the roster. They're not in it. We haven't seen them, and I'm scared they're not going to be. Diddy Kong is currently my main in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it would really suck if that's like one of two characters that doesn't come back. I honestly believe that in general, so Donkey Kong Bonanza, right? We've yet to see Diddy Kong in that either, and I am getting kind of scared that Nintendo are trying to like do away with Diddy Kong as a character altogether because of P. Diddy. I'm not even kidding. I think they actually are. The association with P. Diddy and Diddy Kong is just something they don't want to deal with, so they just gotten rid of Diddy Kong, like altogether. So basically, free Diddy, free Diddy here. Okay, we gotta get Diddy Kong back into the roster. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, every character that was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there is no excuse for them not to return. Kamek is not returning as a character because he is now an item. So, granted, he does look like a pretty cool item, but like, damn, imagine that. You're cut from Mario Kart 64 at the last second, and then once you get back into Mario Kart in DLC, you immediately get relegated to be an item the next game. It feels bad, man. But this whole idea of like what we see is what we get is another fear I have with the rest of the game as well. We have seen like 29 tracks. We know that Rainbow Road is going to be unlockable, so that's 30 tracks. That is less than like a base game Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart 8 launched with 32. That's just been the standard, 32. And I said in my wish list that I think that they should have 48 as a starter, because we've gotten to the point where there's so many games in the Mario Kart series that it's hard to have several retro tracks from each game with the current 32. So we need to get up to 48, but now they're doing less than 32, unless there are more tracks that are discoverable. But I'm really starting to get scared that everything we've seen, that's it. That's what you're getting. What you see is what you get. Nothing else is discoverable besides these missions, which would suck. I think the best thing to do would pull like a Tears of the Kingdom, right? Maybe there are other continents in the game. Like you drive in the water far enough and boom, new island here, right? Like, oh look at that, the Woohoo Loop track from 3DS is over off in the distance in an island. That'd be neat. But I'm pretty doubtful of that. Tears of the Kingdom pulled that though. They didn't show off the depths in any of the promotional footage. So then when you played the game for the first time, it's like, oh look at that, it's a legitimate first time discovery. Right? And you don't exactly... I don't think we're going to get that in Mario Kart World. Also, another thing, the retro track selection in general is just having me scratch my head. Like, if you're going to have less than 32 tracks in the game, and that is splitting retros and nitros. So you get like 15 retros, 15 nitros. What are we doing bringing in shit like Desert Hills from DS? Right? We have less tracks to work with in Mario Kart World. And they're over here bringing Desert Hills over. They're bringing, what are these other tracks? Like, DK Pass is coming back again. Sky High Sunday's returning. I'm thinking like, what are we doing? There are some cool retro tracks coming back. Like, for instance, you know, we got Dino Jungle returning again, which is cool. We got Airship Fortress returning, which is also cool. Toad's Factory is finally being brought back, about time. But I think it's honestly outweighed by all these retro tracks that shouldn't be here. Choco Mountain's being brought back again, despite just being in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Moo Moo Meadows is coming back again. We have been playing Moo Moo Meadows for over a decade, okay? It's been like 11 plus years of Moo Moo Meadows. And it's coming back in the world as well. Like, come on, man. Oh, there's so many other tracks you could pick. But this retro track selection, it's really weird. They have like Mario Circuit 1, 2, and 3 combined into one track. And it's like, where's Mario Circuit 4? That's never returned. They're allergic to bringing it back. They hate it. And another thing, like, they don't even have tracks from every game confirmed. There has not been a single confirmed GBA track coming to Mario Kart World. Not one. Not one has been confirmed whatsoever. Now would be the chance to get Sunset Wilds in the game with the actual sunset. Now that you have the day-night cycle feature, which is really cool. Now would be your chance to bring back, like, Yoshi Desert would be a better track than Desert Hills to bring back. All these other tracks you could bring into the game. And it's like, they're just picking anything. They're like, we need a level in this theme. We need a course that's themed around this. So it's like, we have this one cup that's a bunch of ice tracks. Quick, Sky High Sunday, that works. It's an ice track with like an ice cream theme. That could be thrown into the game. Just chuck that in there, you know? Doesn't feel like a whole lot of thought was put into the selection of retro tracks here. And I'm gonna have to bring this up. Where the hell is Wario Coliseum? Alright, I'm sorry, Nintendo has a massive hate boner for this track for no reason. I don't understand it. Why do they hate Wario Coliseum so much? It really sucks. Every single game in the Mario Kart series from DS onward has been a better opportunity to bring this track back than the last. So you have Mario Kart DS, right? There's a track where you have it all on a handheld. Wario Coliseum on a handheld, that'd be cool, although it might not fit on there. Okay, fair. That would still be a good ending track. It'd be a lot better of an ending track than Yoshi's Circuit was. Much better finale, but whatever. Then Mario Kart Wii comes along. It's like, okay, we now have tricks introduced. And hey, there were some ramps in Wario Coliseum. Now those can be trick ramps, but instead they opted for Waluigi Stadium, which I'm fine with. That track fits perfectly in a Mario Kart Wii. It genuinely feels like it could have been a Nitro track in that game. It fits that well. Alright, fine. Whatever, we'll have that instead. Okay. Then Mario Kart 7 rolls around and it's like, alright, not only is it on a handheld, not only do we have the tricks back, but also we have underwater and we have gliders. Both of which could be incorporated into the track and it'd be pretty cool. It didn't come back yet again. Alright, fine. The two tracks they brought back, Daisy Cruiser and Dino Jungle, are both good. Whatever. But then Mario Kart 8 comes along. It's like, okay, this is the time to bring it back. Alright, bring it home. We have, not only is the game portable on 8 Deluxe. It wasn't portable originally, but it is now. Not only do we have the tricks back, the underwater back, and the gliding, but now we have anti-gravity. All of these can be incorporated into Wario Coliseum to make it a magnificent track. Nope! Instead they decide to bring back what is possibly the two worst tracks in Mario Kart Double Dash, Dry Desert and Sherbet Land, which were both clearly just picked because they needed a desert and ice track. And it's like, alright, fine. Well, DLC is coming for the game. What are we getting? We're getting Yoshi Circuit again. We're getting Yoshi Circuit again. Even though it was already brought back in DS and you didn't add anything. You added nothing to the 8 Deluxe version of that. Nothing whatsoever. Okay, fine. You know what? Whatever. You're not going to add that back. You'd rather add back freaking Baby Park. Fine. Okay. But then we get the booster pass. Nope. Not there either. Not in Tour. Okay, whatever at this point. Let's just wait till the next game. It's a lock. So now Mario Kart World comes along. And it's like, okay. Surely now you are going to bring this track back. It is portable. Day one, it's going to be a portable game. You have the tricks back. You have the gliding back. You don't have underwater back, but it's okay. We don't need underwater in the track. It's all good. And now, in this game, you can literally drive on every wall in the game, and it's still not back! How is this track not back? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. It has never been remade once. Not once. It is literally probably like the best track in the series pre-Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, alright? Before Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think Wario Coliseum is probably the best designed track in the series. Nope, not back. What is it? Is it the fact that it's like 2 laps and they're unable to make 2-lap tracks anymore? Mario Kart World literally has tracks with like 8 laps. There's like, there's so many different like variations of the numbers of laps in this game. And is this the issue? Like, if you wanted to, you could make it 3 laps if you want. It's not that long of a track. But no! They still haven't brought it back. And we know it's not going to be back because they brought back Wario Stadium, which, to be fair, Wario Stadium from N64 also never got brought back. I am glad that that is also returning. That is still a good pick. But Wario Shipyard's coming back. That was just brought to Tour! You just brought that back with Mario Kart Tour. That was just brought back. And what I'm seeing from it isn't enough to convince me that it should have been brought back. We don't even have underwater anymore. You drive on the water, which is probably cooler, but still, like, I would have so much rather had Wario Coliseum be the track they picked and not Wario Shipyard, but I guess we'll have to wait for DLC for this game, which, oh my god, having to pay for DLC for this. Oh, lovely. God, dude, I need more water. I need more water. I'm fuming. But that's so goddamn stupid. The fact it still hasn't come back. It has to. Seriously, I'm just picturing, like, having a cup where you're driving between tracks and then you end it off in the Wario Coliseum. Like, you drive into the Coliseum, people are cheering, yeah! You start driving on the walls, like, oh, that'd be so good. It would look so good. Oh my god. On the fact, like, it genuinely just feels like Nintendo hates Mario Kart Double Dash for some reason. Another thing, they announced that GameCube games are coming to Switch 2, and Double Dash isn't one of them. They haven't showed it coming in the future, nothing, despite the fact that every other system coming to Switch Online has all launched with Mario Kart. But, man, like, come on. I can't get over this. I genuinely can't, dude. Also, Baby Park would have probably been a good addition to World, because now you have 24 players, so now it would actually be chaotic. You know, like what people try to convince you and gaslight you into thinking the Double Dash version was, when it wasn't. It was never chaotic. It was never good. Alright, I'm IGN. Baby Park was never good. It never was. It never will be, except for if it's put in the Mario Kart World. God, dude. Wario Coliseum. I'm kind of scared that this is all we're gonna get. Alright? And I think it might be time. Actually, no, it's not time. Knockout Tour. Haven't mentioned Knockout Tour. That is a really insanely good addition. I've been watching gameplay of people playing through Knockout Tour. It just looks like exhilarating adrenaline rush. Like, it looks so good. Such a good idea for a mode. I know that fans did it in ROM hacks first, and like custom track Grand Prix and whatnot, but having it officially, and it works so good with this game too, because you actually drive from one track to another. It's perfect. It's just perfect. Man, it's just, like, I really hope 200cc ends up being a thing. 200cc Knockout Tour would go hard. That's just literally Mario Kart F-Zero at that point. Oh, they need to add like a 99 mode. Mario Kart 99. Oh, dang, dude. It's just, yeah. So the game looks really good, although I'm still pretty scared that what we see is what we get. You know, they had this like Mario Kart World Direct that they put out, and it's pretty much just a glorified overview trailer. There was barely anything they showed off in there that we didn't already know from like the original presentation, and also from the treehouse gameplay we saw, and also like the hands-on stuff. Pretty much almost the entire game was playable through these like in-person hands-on demos. So we've got pretty much footage of the entire game by this point, except for the Rainbow Road and a bunch of free roam. But yeah, Knockout Tour looks great, game looks great, excited to play it. But what I'm not excited for is I'm not excited for that price tag. Now is when we gotta get into the pricing. I'm drinking water again. Just a quick sip, alright? Okay, so I know this has been talked about to death. The game pricing and the pricing of Nintendo Switch 2 and its accessories and its games has been discussed to the ends of the earth. I'm still throwing my hat in here because this is important to talk about in general. Not only just for gaming, but like the state of the world too. This all connects together. First of all, I want to say, Nintendo Switch 2, it cost $450 US. I'm going to use US dollars as a point of reference because even though I'm not American, I'm Canadian. I think most of the people watching this are going to be from the States. It's much easier to just use that as the standard. Those are the prices I remember off the top of my head, so we're using that. So it's $450 US for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then the bundle, which includes Mario Kart World, is $500. And then Mario Kart, but yeah, I think the Nintendo Switch 2 being $450 US, I think is warranted. I'm going to defend that price tag. The price of the console itself, I think, is fine, alright? I know it's a bit pricey, much more pricey than the Nintendo Switch originally was, more pricey than the OLED. However, you are getting what you're paying for here, alright? 120 FPS in handheld, 1080p screen, HDR, 4K on TV, the fan inside of the dock, all this other technology added to the Joy-Cons. You are getting what you're paying for. Alright, this is a $450 console, and that's still cheaper than the competition with Sony and Microsoft. Right? I think a good way of looking at it is this. The Steam Deck was $400 US. The Nintendo Switch 2 is more powerful than the Steam Deck. That's the way I look at it. I think that makes sense. I saw some people saying they wanted it to be like $350. That was never going to happen. The Switch OLED costed that much. Having the Switch 2 be priced the exact same as the OLED would be like obscene. That would not happen. And then having it at $400 is still a bit on the lighter side. I think $450 is still a good price tag. I'm just glad it wasn't like $500 or more. I was scared it might be that much, you know? And it wasn't. What I will not defend, however, is Mario Kart World costing $80 US. Now, there's been a lot of misinformation spreading, and to be fair, that's like what you would expect to happen since Nintendo was not forthright with any of this information. They made sure not to announce any of the pricing in the Direct itself because they knew that people would be disappointed and they didn't want that. However, that kind of like boomeranged and hit them in the back because now it's like blowing up in their face because people are starting to like have to get their information from other sources. So misinformation was spreading a lot when it was first announced. People were saying that it would be like $80 digital and then like $90 US for the physical version. This isn't a thing, alright? The physical version and digital version cost the same. There are no $90 games, although $80 is not much better. But yeah, still want to clear that up, even though most of the confusion has been cleared up right now. But I think it was literally just someone saw like 90 euros and they thought that euros and dollars were the same thing when they're not. But anyway, still, Mario Kart World for $80 is just absurd. I know the game looks amazing, right? And that doesn't matter in the slightest. It doesn't matter how good the game looks. It doesn't matter how good the game is. It could be the best game ever made, the biggest game ever made, bigger than all these open world games, bigger than Tears of the Kingdom, bigger than freaking GTA 6, alright? It could be the literal biggest video game, the best video game ever made, even though I'm doubting it will be. I'm doubting it will be. But even then, it doesn't matter. It's about the precedent that it sets. It doesn't matter if Mario Kart World is worth the $80. What does matter is that other companies, other corporations are going to see the $80 price tag, they're going to see Nintendo get away with it, and they're going to raise their game prices to $80. In fact, we've already seen this just now, literally right after Mario Kart World got announced. Sony announced that they're making Last of Us Collection, like complete, which is both games remastered for like the 5th time in one collection for $100 US. $100 US. So like other companies are going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, look at that. The dam's been broken. We now have the door wide open. We can just start pricing our shit higher now that we've been given the excuse to do so. We can just do it. Everyone's going to follow suit. Xbox, literally like yesterday as I'm recording this, announced that they're going to be pricing their games at $80 now. Not only that, Xbox actually went a step further and they decided that they're going to raise the price of the Xbox Series X by $100. What? What? What are you talking about? What? What the hell is this? What? Like, consoles are supposed to get cheaper as time goes on, not more expensive. This, like, the Series X is like 5 years old. It's half a decade old by this point. Okay? And it's already underperforming. Xbox is already losing this console war as it's going on. They've admitted as such. And they're over here pricing it another $100. What is the reason to buy an Xbox? I'm sorry, can anyone in the comments tell me what reason anyone has to buy an Xbox? All of their games are on PC and other platforms. The Game Pass is on other platforms. Why are you buying a Series X? Like before it was like, okay, because it's cheaper. It's not even now. What the frick? Who's buying this shit? I'm losing my mind. Like that's insane. That's insane. Like, I think that's more insane than the Nintendo Switch 2 pricing. Raising the price of your console $100 5 years in is just unprecedented greed. Oh my god, dude. Like, what's next? Is Sony on, like, June 3rd going to announce that their PlayStation 5s they'll hire people from Sony to come into your house, steal your PS5 when you're asleep, and then make you pay for it to buy it back? Like, what's gonna happen next, dude? I'm sorry, this is just like absurd. This is Scrooge McDuck levels of depravity here. Just insane, man. But yeah, look, this is the precedent Nintendo set with their prices. Not the console raising $100. That's absurd. But the fact that companies are gonna look at this, like now Sony's gonna look at this and be like, huh, we raised our prices to 70, but now we have the excuse, the door's open to raise them to 80. Well, fuck yeah, we're gonna raise them to 80. You think we're not gonna want more money? Like, hell yeah, we want $80 for games now. Of course. And here's the problem with that. Even if Mario Kart World is worth the $80, you already know that most of the games that are getting priced at this price point aren't worth the $80. Hell, most AAA games, quadruple A games that come out these days aren't even worth $60. Okay? And now they're gonna be priced at 80. Are you kidding me? GTA 6 just today got announced that it's going to be delayed to 2026, and part of me thinks that they're doing that just so that they can wait for prices to go up to $100 per game, so that they have the excuse to price it at that. Remember, people were talking about like, oh no, GTA is going to be $100. I think that's just an inevitability now. All right, that is like the lesser side of this. Okay, that would be like the lower end option. We made it to the point where $100 for GTA 6 is like the best outcome for that. God, dude. And then Doug Bowser came out. He came out, I think it was like, or Bill Trinan. It was either Bill Trinan or Doug Bowser, one of those two clowns. They were like, alright, well basically, we're pricing the games depending on how much development time went into it. They called it variable pricing, right? Here's the thing about this variable pricing. I get sometimes your game might cost more to make, whatever. However, the only way I'm accepting your variable pricing bullshit is if the pendulum swings both ways. It has to swing both ways. I can't just have the variable pricing be, oh, sometimes we'll price a game higher than 70. No, variable pricing needs to go both ways. Whenever there's a remaster that comes to the Switch 2, it needs to be priced at like $40, okay? It needs to be lower price for a remaster. No more Skyward Sword HD at full price $60. No more of this. No more of it. If say like for variable pricing, if variable pricing were to actually go in effect, if they were to bring Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to the Switch 2, which is kind of unlikely considering Wind Waker is on the NSO now, but I mean, Mario 64 got added to All-Stars, and also online, but whatever. Besides the point. With variable pricing, what you would do is put Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD into one package. One package runs at like 4K, 60 FPS TV, 1080, 120 in handheld mode. You'd have to do something with the stamps. Put that into one package for like $40. That would be variable pricing. But you already know they're not going to do that. If they were to bring the games to Switch, you already know they're going to sell both of them at $60. There's the variable pricing in action. I do not believe for a second that the pendulum will swing both ways. Although if it does, I'll be more supportive of this. I won't be fully supportive because still, it's not about the game itself, Mario Kart World being priced at $80. It's about the precedent it's already setting. And I see a lot of idiots, a lot of really stupid people on Twitter trying to claim like, wow, you're blaming Mario Kart World for the price increase. Like, tech game's not even out yet. Like, who gives a shit if it's out yet? How does that affect anything in the slightest? They announced the price of the game and pre-orders are through the roof. That's all other companies need. Boom, they got away with it. Now every company is gonna raise their prices to $80 for games. It's so stupid. That's the new precedent. Like, it especially sucks because Nintendo barely dipped their toes into $70 games, right? They were doing $60 games when Sony raised it to $70, and that was like the new industry standard. Nintendo was still over here pricing their stuff at $60. The only time they dabbled in $70 was with Tears of the Kingdom, and I will still say that that is a $70 game. That's worth the price tag. The game is big enough, it's content filled enough, you'll get your money's worth out of that game. Alright? But now Nintendo is the one setting the bar. It's not Nintendo following suit. They're setting a new bar for prices. $80 is obscene for each game. Oh, plus I'm a Canadian too, so it's even more for me. It was like, what, like $129 with tax to get the game by itself? And I know what a lot of people will say in response to this. They'll be like, well, Mario Kart World with the bundle, you can get it for like $50, you know? Here's the thing about that. For some reason, and this goes for the Switch one too, Nintendo seems to be like allergic to they seem to be allergic to putting physical copies of their games into bundles. They didn't do it for Switch 1 as well. Like Mario Odyssey bundle came with the download code. All these bundles came with download codes, and it's the same here. If you buy the Mario Kart World Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, you are not getting a physical copy of the game, you're getting a digital download code, and I hate that. Every first-party game I get for the Switch, I want to have it physically, right? I have a physical collection. I like having a box on my shelf, even though I have to like, every time I get a new Switch game, my shelf is full, so I have to take one off my shelf and put it into a different pile. I don't care. I want the game physically. I wanted all the data on the cartridge so it doesn't take up space on my Switch internal storage. And that's just not happening. I probably would have been willing to spend the extra price to get the game physically, but at my GameStop for pre-orders, and pre-orders is another thing. Let's just talk about pre-orders right now. Screw it. I'll get back into pricing in a second. little side Yap tangent here. Little derailing the Yappathon. So the pre-orders, right, were a mess. They were a huge mess. I'll give some lenience to Nintendo. I don't think it was a case of them like just undersupplying willingly. No, I think they genuinely didn't believe the pre-orders would be as big as they were, because the pre-orders were actually like, they were bigger than the PS5 pre-orders. They broke that record. There were insane pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. Every online retailer sold out. Every online retailer shat themselves. Best Buy literally didn't even work. Like, that was just chaos ensuing. It was literally like Jingle All the Way. The scene where they all break in to get the Turbo Man. Get the mailman! That's literally what it was. And Canada's pre-orders was a day later in the morning. I didn't get one online. However, turns out the strat to get your pre-order is the touch grass strat. Touch grass strat remains undefeated. I went in person to my local GameStop at my mall, and they had pre-orders available in person. I snagged a pre-order right there. Boom. Just had to put like a $300 deposit down. Oh, that's the strat. I don't know if they're still available. I can check right now, because they were available for like a few days at that location after I got it, right? I'm gonna check again. Let's see if there's still availability here. Checking my local mall. So they have the site and it shows like availability. Look at this. At my mall, there's still low availability for copies, or like not copies, but bundles of the Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart World. They're still available. It's low availability. It's been like a week, if not more, since the pre-orders went up. Or like a couple days at the very least. It's still been almost a week since they went up, and there's still availability. If you haven't managed to get a pre-order, I'd highly recommend checking your local GameStop for availability online. They might still have it. It's worth looking. But yeah, I got that. But the thing is, they only had the Mario Kart World bundle available for pre-order, so I think what I might end up doing, maybe what I could do, is I could get the Mario Kart World bundle, and then I could just like sell off the code, and after that I could just buy a physical copy of the game. Maybe that might be worth doing. I don't know, but like, it's really gonna suck if I don't have it physically. That's just bleh. Especially since it's like 20-something gigabytes. It has a bigger file storage than Tears of the Kingdom. So it makes me think, well, it should have like a huge game inside of it. It should be bigger than Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe there's surprises they still haven't shown yet. Copium. Huffing that copium. But yeah, I managed to get a pre-order. Back to talking about the pricing on this thing. Yeah, the bundle, I was talking about how the bundle, even though it's cheaper to get it with the bundle, it still doesn't come with a physical copy of the game, which really sucks. And I think this brings me to another tangent I can go on here, which it feels like Nintendo is trying to stop physical copies of their games from being sold. Let me explain. Physical media is dying in general, right? CDs are dying, physical copies of movies are dying because of streaming services. People are not buying like most of their games physically anymore, and like digital is more convenient. But the thing about that is, if you have the game physically, you own it, right? You can have it no matter what. No one can take it away from you unless they break into your house and steal it. Whereas with digital, you've seen like quotes like from Ubisoft saying that people need to start getting comfortable not owning their games, right? They want people to have the games for streaming services like Xbox stuff, Game Pass, Switch Online, PS Plus, and whatnot. They don't want people actually owning their games, and there's a lot of anti-physical moves being made by Nintendo on this. So, first of all, I want to talk about, I mean, you got the Mario Kart World bundle for one, but next, the game key cards. So, there was a lot of misinformation about the game key cards too. What they are, in effect, game key cards are like dummy cartridges inside of a box where you still have the game downloaded onto your Switch digitally. However, you need to have the cartridge in your Switch in order to play the digital game. So it's like a digital game that works like a physical game. And the thing about this is that kind of sucks. I like having the games on the physical cartridge itself, right? Again, storage issues, but it's just nice having it all on the cartridge. It's cool. But with these digital game key cards, the games aren't on the cartridge. They're still downloaded to your system. You just need the cartridge to be in there to use it. So it's like a license, pretty much. Nintendo first-party games aren't going to use this, but most of the third-party games are using this. Most third-party games coming to Switch 2 are opting to use these game key cards, which, it makes sense. Third parties don't want to splurge extra money and eat into their profits to buy these proprietary Switch 2 cartridges. So Nintendo's giving them an option hey, just use these game key cards. And this is in effect pretty much replacing the whole code in a box thing from Switch 1. Now, when I said I didn't want code in a box anymore, I didn't say I wanted more code in a box. To be fair, on a functional level, this is an improvement slightly from that, because you can actually buy, you can sell it, you can trade it, but still, it still sucks. And CD Projekt Red is actually setting a good example here, which I can't believe I'm saying, but they're managing to put all of Cyberpunk 2077 onto a single cartridge, all the data on the cartridge. This is great, and they should be lauded for that. I can't believe I'm just praising CD Projekt Red right now. The fact that they're setting the example here of what to do. They did that with Witcher 3 as well. The Switcher 3, they got that all onto a cartridge. So they're just trying to flex that, hey, we can get all this onto a cartridge. But that's great. I wish that more companies could do this. But, yeah, the game key cards just... I don't know. A lot of these games, it feels like do you need a game key card for Bravely Default? That's a 3DS remaster. As if you need a game key card for that. Sonic X Shadow Generations, really? Switch 2 version of that's gonna be on a game key card? Really? Come on, dude. As if you need a game key card for any of that. But, bleh. But yeah, the misinformation was that people said every single Switch game would be on a game key card. Not true. The Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games is another pricing thing. It's come on, man. So the Nintendo Switch 2 versions of games. There's another. Well, again, a lot of misinformation about this. But again, Nintendo is not explaining any of this shit clearly or cogently, right? They're not being coherent in their explanation whatsoever. They are very much being obtuse with this information. The Nintendo Switch 2 versions, from what I understand, it's you have the game on Switch, right? And you can upgrade it. So Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch game and a Switch 2 game. So you can buy the Switch game and then pay for the upgrade to get the Switch 2 version, or you can just buy the Switch 2 version. But the Switch 2 version is more expensive than the Switch 1 version. So Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are both getting Switch 2 versions, which are going to run you $80 each. Again. Oh, man. Come on. But basically, if you already have the game, you can buy an upgrade pack for $20 or so. Or you could just use Switch Online plus expansion pack to get the upgrades. And come on, man, just gouging any bit of money they can get out of us, right? No bones are being thrown whatsoever. Just if we can make money off this, we're just gonna charge you as much as we can. They know people are gonna buy Tears of the Kingdom barely runs on the Switch. It barely walks on the Switch. So they're of course people are gonna buy an upgrade for it. As far as I'm concerned, if you already own the game, you should get it for free. Another issue, Breath of the Wild Switch 2 version won't come with the DLC. Come on. Come on, that is evil. Every, like, definitive version of games come with the DLC. That's just standard practice. To throw the DLC into it while you do it, that's the least you can do. I haven't even played the Breath of the Wild DLC. It'd be nice to be able to do that, but nope. Doesn't come with it. So yeah, there's like a Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition, and some of the Switch 2 editions come with extra content, and therein lies the rub here, because there are a lot of games on the Switch 2, or a bunch of them, that are getting Switch 2 editions with new content, and I really don't care about the new content. I just want the performance upgrades, right? Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a great example of this. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, right, is a really phenomenal game. It's one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played, and it would be really nice to get the performance enhancements. However, in order to get said performance enhancements, you have to buy the Switch 2 version of the game that comes with the DLC. There is no option, and this should be a thing. There should be an option to get only the performance upgrades for free if you don't want the DLC. The DLC should just be like just that, DLC. You shouldn't be forced into buying the DLC. Like the Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC, I don't really care. It looks like a new game plus. I'm not really like into it. Don't need it. Okay, don't really care. But I do want that performance enhancement, but I have to buy the upgrade pack to get it. All of the performance enhancements should be free updates. DLC is one thing. Fine. Pay for that, but the performance upgrade should be free, like what they're doing with Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is getting a free performance upgrade. It's like just more of that. Give all of your first-party titles free performance upgrades. The DLC can be another thing altogether. But nope, you have to get the DLC. At the very least, make sure it's all on the expansion pack, but it's not. I can see why there's so much confusion and misinformation here. You got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions, which you have to pay extra for, and then it's like $80, and then you can also get that free with the expansion pack, and it's like, cool. Then Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby and the Forgotten Land also have Switch 2 editions. However, said Switch 2 editions come with new content, and you have to buy all this, and it doesn't come on the expansion pack. Then you have shit like Metroid Prime 4, which has a Switch and Switch 2 edition, and if you have the Switch edition, you can upgrade by paying for the upgrade pack, or you can just get the Switch 2 version by itself. Are you confused yet? None of this is like convenient, accessible information. All of it's such a confusing mess. Such roundabout information. It's a confusing mess, man. Also, don't even get me started on the box arts for these Switch 2 edition games, because dear lord, oh my god, these Switch 2 edition box art looks bad. Look at the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 art really quick. I'm putting it on the screen. So on the Switch 2 art, not only do you get like the giant red bezel, not only do you get like the tiny Nintendo Switch 2 logo put over top of it, but look at this like huge like mess in the middle here. Not only do you have the text with the Switch 2 version, not only do you have the huge bezel and everything, but you have this giant blurb of text on the front telling you how the Switch 2 versions work. This should be on the back of the box. We're officially at the point where the back of the box is infecting the front of the box. Why? Why is it infecting the front of the box? Oh man, dude. Why? Like, this looks terrible. It's blocking some of the art. The Switch 1 edition looks better. You're better off just buying the Switch 1 edition physically than getting the upgrade pack. I know, like, how often are these Switch 2 editions gonna drop? I can think of some good ideas for Switch 2 editions, though, like Mario Maker 2 Switch 2 edition featuring Mario Wonder stuff and mouse mode. That'd be cool. Luigi's Mansion 3 Switch 2 edition, although I don't know what content you would add. It'd probably just be a performance upgrade. But it's like a lot of Switch 2 editions could be good for games. But the fact you have to like pay extra for all of this, like, again, you should have the option to get the Switch 2 performance upgrades and visual upgrades for free if you want. That shouldn't be locked behind a paywall. I'm sorry, you bought the game, you should get the best version in the update. The DLC is just that DLC. And a topic of greed, there's the game Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which is pretty much like an instruction manual for the Nintendo Switch 2, right? Showing you how everything works, showing you how, like, different secrets and that, like, the different features of the Switch 2. This is the type of shit that you pack into your console. This is like akin to like Face Raiders. It's giving like Astro's Playroom, you know? I just said it's giving. I'm over here trying to be hip with the kids. Look at me. But yeah, it like this emanates the aura of being like just a game that comes packed in with the Switch 2, but it's not. You have to pay $10 for it. I know that's cheap. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. It could be $2. The fact you have to pay for like an instruction manual for the Switch 2 is insane. You want people to have this game. It shows off more of your console. It gets people hyped about it. It gets people liking your like current console. But it's like imagine if while you're at the car dealership, right? You have to pay to get a car salesman to sell you on the car, right? Like you're over here by yourself just perusing the cars, but then it's like, hey, if you want a guy to be a guide and show you like everything about the car and try to sell you on it, you have to pay like a $10 fee for that, right? Like imagine if you're buying a new house and you look around the house and you don't see anyone there. You're wondering, where is everyone? Where's the person where's the salesman for this house? And you have to you'd find out, oh, you have to actually pay $10 to get the home tour guide and salesman to show up. That's insane. That's literally what this is. I don't see anyone who is going to buy this game outside of like reviewers and like tech channels. I don't know, like only content creators are gonna buy this. I don't see what family after purchasing their child like a $500+ console plus game are gonna then move on to like buying this $10 instruction manual. Who's doing it? Who's doing it? Like what's next? Physical games don't come with manuals anymore. Are they gonna charge to get a manual in the physical copies of games? Like there's a manual version of each game. It just really sucks. Nintendo's always been greedy, right? They've always been trying to like push the envelope in terms of like how much money they can get out of you. How much money they can just yoink out of you, but this is a new level of depravity here. It just really sucks. The Switch 2 just looks incredible, but every new piece of information that comes out gets everyone more and more worried. Like the Switch 2 presentation I think was great, but then after it ends it's like, oh, they didn't show pricing, let's check it out. Oh, that kind of like punch to the gut kind of ruins the excitement, dead in its tracks. Hype train just got stopped. Another thing, what was I going to talk about? There's something I was going to talk about. It was regarding the Switch 2. There's the pricing. There's the... Oh yeah! I know what I was going to talk about. Another really scummy thing Nintendo's done. So, basically, the Nintendo Switch 1 just got a performance upgrade, version 20. And, yeah, that version actually caused a bunch of people's Switch to, like, get locked and, like, not be able to boot. And, that got fixed immediately with the new update, 20.1. But, yeah, in this new update, they made it so that the Switch home menu is more akin to the Switch 2 home menu. So, of course, you got, like, the eShop icons now red, which I don't think I'm ever going to get used to. I get it. You want the console to be the same color, or like the eShop to be the same color as their console, fine, whatever. But the eShop's been yellow or like orange since the beginning, you know? This just doesn't feel right. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. News being green I can get behind though. But yeah. But they added the virtual game cards, and another thing they added was the game sharing, which you can't do yet because you need the Switch 2 for it. Here's the thing though. There's a caveat to this. When Nintendo added in this update for the new game sharing, they ended up actually getting rid of the old method. I was unaware of this, but apparently there was an old method for like game sharing that you could do that Nintendo has just gotten rid of completely. And I'm pretty sure they said they wouldn't do it too. So if that's the case, they just flat out lied to us. And I've seen, again, a lot of really stupid, annoying Nintendo fans on Twitter who would literally like jump in front of a moving train so long as Nintendo was driving it. They're like, it was an exploit, you know, it's an exploit. They're just patching an exploit. It wasn't meant to happen. That was just a bug. It was an oversight. You know, they're just patching it up. No, they're not. It was not a fucking oversight. It was in their goddamn FAQ. Their FAQ had instructions on how to do this exact game sharing, which they conveniently got rid of right after they did this update. The instructions on how to do this old game sharing method is no longer on their site. They got rid of it. That is a feature that you paid for being removed by Nintendo in an update. What's next? Like, come on. Pretty sure that if when you like do the data transfer over to Switch 2, it also like forces you to do a factory reset on your old Switch. So like combine these two things together, it's like, come on, man. Just every new piece of information about the Switch 2 makes me less excited about it. And I remember I said in my last Yappathon there wasn't really anything I was looking forward to this year, and that's not as true anymore. I'm still looking forward to playing Mario Kart World, you know, Donkey Kong Bonanza, but jeez, man, like the hype is kind of like dying down. Nintendo desperately needs some good PR right now, but they're not getting it. Every new piece of news we find out, like from the pricing to the game key cards to the new update removing features, all of this just like, man, it really sucks. Just really does. Oh man. But yeah, that's literally removing a feature. That I can't get over that. That's next level scummy. All the big three gaming companies are trying to like beat themselves to the bottom. They're trying to have a race to the bottom. I think honestly at this point we might just need another gaming crash. You know, wouldn't that be something? Nintendo saves the gaming industry from the crash and then causes another one decades later, like poetic. And this isn't even factoring in tariffs. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about tariffs. You can tell tariffs are a big deal because I'm officially out of water. Yep. Water bottle is now empty. I just drank the whole thing of water while recording this. I've been recording for an hour and 30 minutes. Whole movie now. That flew by. Time flies when you're bitching about the Switch. But, yeah. Oh, dude. Tariffs suck. And I'm going to say right now, I really hate how we as gaming YouTubers need to like pussyfoot around talking about tariffs, you know? We have to like tiptoe around the political aspect of these tariffs. Because the whole thing is political, right? I know we have to remain apolitical. You don't want to divide our audience or anything, but screw it, dude. I don't want to just like have to refrain from talking about this. When the politics directly affect the games I'm talking about, I have to talk about the politics because that's the root cause, alright? The root cause behind the tariffs that are going to raise the price of gaming industry accessories, consoles, and games is put into place by the Republican administration in the United States led by Donald Trump. I said it, alright, Voldemort, he who shall not be named. Donald Trump's dumbass decided to do this tariff plan to bring manufacturing back to the US, and that's not even gonna work. First of all, the tariffs are so goddamn stupid, but it also raises the price of stuff. We're already seeing Switch 2 accessories, their price tags are raising because of the tariffs. Xbox is blaming tariffs for them raising the price of the Xbox Series X for an extra $100, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, hey, avert. They don't need to raise it because of the tariffs. They're just using the tariffs as an excuse. Yeah, that's cool and all. However, get this. They would not be able to use the tariffs as an excuse if the tariffs didn't exist in the first place. Alright? The impetus of them being able to blame tariffs is the tariffs. If Trump never put these dumbass tariffs on and never started like retracting on them, like we don't even know what's happening. He's like, we're doing tariffs, and then it's like, all right, we're doing tariffs now, cool. We're no longer doing tariffs. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, genuinely, what is happening right now? The fact that the state of US's clown politics, their political circus is now infecting the entire globe. Like, it sucks. What is this timeline we're living in? It's so stupid. Companies would not be able to use tariffs as an excuse to raise prices if the tariffs weren't there in the first place. That is how it goes. Alright? It's the same way how during COVID, you know, there was a lot of supply shortages because of COVID, and companies used that as an excuse to raise prices. And then after COVID started to die down, and now we're at a point where COVID isn't really that big of a deal anymore compared to what it was when it first started. They're still keeping the prices as they were when they raised them. Because why? Because COVID gave them a perfect excuse to raise the prices. It's corporate greed through and through. Doesn't matter. It's either Trump's administration and their dumbasses raising the prices to the tariffs, or it's corporate greed fucking us up the ass. Or it's both. Alright, there's no good outcome here. It really sucks when people mention the tariffs. They have to be like the current state of the economic world, you know. They have to be like the tariff stuff. Screw that. No. Donald Trump's stupid ass tariff regime is screwing everyone who is a gamer over. And keep in mind that most of the people who voted for him are the people who are like, don't touch our video games. You better not touch it. We don't want DEI woke in our video games, brother. You better not put no damn DEI woke in our video games. No more female characters. And it's like, hey, look at that. This is what you get. Have fun paying $80 for Mario Kart. Have fun paying an extra $100 for the Xbox Series X. Have fun. We can't stop winning. We just can't stop winning. We're gonna keep winning. You're gonna say, I'm tired of all this winning. Mario Kart at $80. New Xbox Series X $100 increase. We're doing it. No other president could do as much of a price increase as I. Oh man, just so stupid. So goddamn stupid. Here's the thing, right? Nintendo manufactures their consoles in Vietnam. Vietnam is at the top of the list when it comes to like the tariffs. Besides like China, I'm pretty sure that was like second. Vietnam getting tariffed out the wazoo here. And that's where they produce all their manufacturing. So we already see stories of Nintendo just frantically shipping Nintendo Switch 2 consoles into America as fast as they can. Any percent speedrunning this shit so that they can have all their units in the US so they can bypass the tariffs when the tariffs hit, whenever the pause ends. Alright, we don't know what's happening right now. The US is being run by a dumbass dementia madman. Okay? We have no idea what's going on in his brain. What hamster spinning in a wheel is making the decisions? Like he's throwing a dart at the dartboard. Alright, will tariffs continue for 2 more months? No? Yes? We don't know. We have no idea. It's so unpredictable, and this is just worldwide. This is beyond gaming. This issue extends so far beyond gaming that if this tariff stuff the current economic world landscape actually ends up happening, you will have a lot more to worry about than the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2, believe you me. Alright? Alright. But as a Canadian, I think we're getting like double screwed, because everything that comes into Canada, as far as my knowledge, I could be incorrect here in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the way it works is that everything like Nintendo consoles and whatnot that come into Canada, they don't get shipped directly into Canada. They get shipped into the US and then through the US to Canada, which means that we get double tariffed, because not only will we have the tariffs going from the Nintendo headquarters in Japan or like around Vietnam or whatever into America, that's a tariff charge, plus you get the tariff charge from America to Canada, so that's like double tariffs. Keep in mind that our economy already sucks. Our Canadian dollar is barely worth anything. It's literally monopoly money, both in presentation and value. But this just adds to that. In Canada, the Nintendo Switch 2 is like $629. The bundle's like $700. And this is like before tax. This is before tax. I'm paying almost $800 Canadian to get the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day. With the bundle. That is insane. That is absurd. It would have been like $829 with a physical copy of Mario Kart. Jesus, dude, I hate this part so much. God. Oh, I wish I had more water. I'm losing my voice right now. God, dude, I've been recording for like almost 2 hours. Jeez, man, the economic landscape. It's just frantic. Alright, stock market crashed recently. Like, give it another month, economy is going to crash. We're in for a recession. We're in recession end times, boys. Get ready. And we're coming down with you guys. Canadians, alright? The fact that the land of like the cheeseburger and the Budweiser is affecting the land of the maple syrup and igloos. Oh, dude, the land of the Inukshuk's. God, dude. That it just really sucks. Everything sucks. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is supposed to be like a glimmer of hope. I think the reason why most people are pissed is because this was supposed to be a glimmer of hope, right? This was like a ray of sunshine in this dark world we're living in right now. But, you know, gaming just so happened to be another victim of the current state of the world. Because here's the thing, right? Here's my conclusion I've drawn. Basically, we're living in hell. Alright? We're living in hell, and as a byproduct of us living in hell, gaming just so happened to get caught up in the crosshairs. Alright? Gaming is just on fire now because, well, it's in hell, so everything in hell is going to catch on fire. Gaming is just another thing that's caught on fire. Everything's going to shit. Gaming's just another thing on that list. Alright, it's just being affected by it. God, dude. It's just getting hit by the backdraft. Man, dude. I know I've said dude, man a lot, but just man. What else can you say but man right now? Woman. Woman. So yeah, that's the state of the world right now. That's the Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's pretty much all my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think I'm missing anything. I could be wrong. I don't think there's anything left to discuss. That's about it for the Switch 2. I've talked about the games. Switch 2 as a console looks great. I'm still excited for it, even though the price tag is absurd for the games. Mario Kart World looks good, but I still have a fair share of worries with it. Nintendo's greedy as shit. Gaming industry is headed for another crash. And the world economy is getting screwed over at the whims of one of the most incompetent administrations I've seen in my lifetime. Maybe the most. Dear Lord. But, yep. That's that. I think I'm gonna take a quick break here because I need to catch my breath. I need to, like, drink something. So I'll be right back. And maybe I'll see if I remember anything else to talk about. Geez, my voice is gone. Alright, I'm back. Don't really have much to add about the Switch 2. I don't have a lot of time to record, but yeah. I don't usually like talking about politics on the channel, but when the politics are like literally interlinked and dovetailed to the discussion about gaming prices, you kind of have to. Oh, screw it. Alright, just skip like, I don't know, like a minute or two ahead if you don't want to hear about politics, whatever. But like the fact that like Trump literally campaigned off of the tariffs being what he's going to do for the economy. It's like every time his supporters are asked, what is Trump going to do to improve the economy of the US? And they're all like, the tariffs. He's going to do tariffs. That's going to help the economy. Like, tariffs never were going to help the economy. Now you're witnessing what you voted for. Boom. Tariffs are making game prices more expensive. Amazing. Either that or they're being used as an excuse to make games more expensive, which still relies on the tariffs being implemented for that to happen. And it's like, like seeing like the CEO of GameStop. CEO of GameStop's been supporting the current administration for a while now, right? Very, very in support of all of it. And it's like, oh, look at that. Tariffs are now affecting the prices at GameStop, and GameStop is now making a post. We know price changes aren't easy. We want to be transparent with the community. And it's like, these decisions reflect broader shifts in the industry, including rising development costs and evolving market conditions. Yeah, what are these evolving market conditions, GameStop? You want to like get your CEO to describe them to us? Like, how are you the CEO of GameStop and you don't understand how tariffs work? Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, dude. Oh, dude. Will I stop? I mean, there's other stuff I could complain about. Yeah, you want to get into, like, deporting people who are legally in the country out of the country, even though the judge says you can't be deported to El Salvador, and he still gets deported to El Salvador with no due process. Just fucking pick him up off the side of the street, then just like throw him into the van, get him into El Salvador. Yeah, all for the crime of criticizing the administration. Incredible. Okay, whatever. Okay, we're moving on. This is gonna be a huge political rant. Jeez, dude. Anyway, yeah. Last, I want to end this off talking about personal life stuff, because this is the stuff no one really cares about, but I'm gonna throw it at the end here. If you came here for the Switch 2, that's it. That's my thoughts. But so last month I have been searching for jobs and like careers to do and like different courses in college or whatever, because I still don't know what to do, but I want to find like something, make some sort of a plan. My parents are really putting pressure on me, like, hey, you gotta get up with a plan here, come on. And job hunting is a huge pain in the ass. It really is. I'm just scrolling on Indeed, right? Trying to find any jobs anywhere whatsoever. And I have my resume, but my resume doesn't have a lot of experience on it. The only work experience I really have is I did a summer job last year, and it's like, okay, that's it. That's my experience. It might honestly be a worse resume having that summer job listed on there. But like seriously, man, it's like I send in all these resumes to places, and most of them I haven't gotten a response from, or I've been rejected from. It's also hard because I don't have a driver's license. I want to get one by the end of this month, or like the end of next month at the latest. I want to get it before Mario Kart World comes out. I have a car. I just don't have a license for it. I have a beginner's. And the thing is, like, in Canada, by law, you need to have someone who has held a full license for at least 3 years or more in the passenger seat with you while you drive if you only have your beginners. So I need to have like my mom or my dad in the car, and the thing is they work, right? So they would have to do it when they get home from work, but there's not a lot of time then, because most of the time we were either making dinner or whatnot, and you know, so we only get like the weekends mostly, and that's not a lot of time to practice driving. But another thing is that my car, my mom's car, and my dad's truck all control differently. So my mom's car, the pedal and brake are not sensitive in the slightest. You have to like push pretty hard on them for them to do anything. And I'm not used to that. Like when I try to hold it lightly to do brake like I usually do, it just doesn't do anything. But then you got my dad's truck, which moves like it's a little bit too smoothly. It controls a little bit too smooth. And I'm not used to that. Everything just works like a little too perfectly. It's too smooth. I'm sorry. And then my car, it literally, you barely put any pressure on any of the pedals. You like literally you sneeze, it just sends you rocketing down the road. It's just very sensitive pedals on my car, and that's the car I should be practicing on, but that car isn't insured currently, so we can't use it. But so every time we would have driving training, it'd be like in these sparse different segments, or like every once in a while we'd do it, and we'd use a different car, so I'd have to like retrain my brain on how to use each car. But my mom and I have been driving a bit in the last few weeks, and I've been using her car every time, so now I'm more comfortable in her car. But I already know the second we switch over to my car, I'm gonna have to retrain my brain on how to use it and all this and blah blah blah. Dude, so much to do, so little time. And I need a car to drive because again, I live in the middle of nowhere. I need a car to drive to work. The current plan is, since my mom drives to work every day, we want to try to find a job somewhere that's like on the way to her work, so that she can like just drop me off in the morning and then pick me up when she's done work, which would be extremely convenient. That would work really well, but we've yet to find that. Oh, dude, just such a pain, man. Having to deal with all this, with everything happening, just a little bit too much for my little not fully developed 19-year-old brain to deal with. But yeah, that is in fact the Yappathon. I think that's all I have to yap about. I don't know. For careers, I was thinking photography. I brought it up to my dad and he was like, well, everyone has a cell phone now. And it's like, okay, but like they're not professionally. It's like, no, they all have a cell phone. Really competitive market. I'm like, bleh. I don't know what I want to do in college. Probably something creative, you know. If I could have it my way, I would be a full-time YouTuber, but I do not have enough subscribers. So subscribe if you want. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. If you can listen to my voice for almost 2 hours, then like why are you not subscribing at that point? Like that's just like, you subscribe at that point. But yeah, I also stealthily, I haven't announced this, but I started a Patreon. It's linked on my channel. You will get nothing. If you give me money, you get nothing. However, I'm upfront about that. It's literally just a give me money if you want fund. You're under no obligation to do so. You know, literally you get nothing for it. Alright, nothing's gonna be locked behind it. I don't want to lock content or whatever behind Patreon. I don't want to do that. I want all my content to be available for everyone. It's literally just, hey, help me afford the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World, because I'm like still struggling over here. And yeah, just been pretty stressed over the last month. And I'm trying to just think really quickly if there's anything else I have to yap about. I think I've exhausted my yap box. My voice box is done. Oh, dude. Yeah, no, that's it. So yeah, been really happy with the performance of the last few videos. Gotten a lot of support from it. A lot of new people showing up. I really, again, I don't think I'd have enough time to make these videos in between everything else I have to do, but jeez, dude, just really stressful, you know? Like, if it would be really nice if I could just like snap my fingers and get a job. Like, if someone were to like give a job to me, I'd be there tomorrow, right? I'd be like, yeah, I'll get up for it tomorrow, don't worry. But the fact you have to go through all these hoops, write out a resume, send out your resume, write these cover letters and whatnot, and then like, oh, dude. If anyone needs video editors, if anyone needs video editors that can edit like me, I'll do it. But, yeah, that's it. Hopefully everyone listening to this or watching this have a great rest of your day, week, month. Let's try to make this a good month. Come on, I want to have a single good month this year. Come on, let's do it. We can do 1 out of 12. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna need to get some rest. I still have to do my workout. Like, I'm supposed to be doing my workout right now. I'm like cutting into my time here. Alright, that's it. I need to stop my yapping. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day, week, month, year, and everything. Alright, I love you all. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.